Look at this good little boy. He's a little sweetheart. He just wants couch time. Hello, everyone, and welcome to, it's Friday, actually. It's Friday. I had mentioned it yesterday, but I have to be up early today to receive a delivery, and we'll talk about that delivery once it arrives. And I hope I don't have to say if it arrives. I'm sure it'll be fine, but there's just been, many times in the past where I get all these things. It's like, you're going to get this thing this day, and then something goes wrong. But assuming it arrives, we'll talk about it here in a bit. The delivery, you had to pick a delivery window, so I chose 9 a.m. to noon. And, I kind of wish I would have chosen 12 to 3, but it's fine. I went to bed last night at a good time, but, and this never happens, I woke up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, like a number 2. And that doesn't happen to me. I know that everyone would assume that that's something that happens to me all the time because I'm BM Steven, but it really never ever happens, and it was kind of odd. I woke up last night and I was just very sick. It's the middle of the night, and I woke up and I was like, oh, I woke up because I have to go to the bathroom, and that's weird. And then I was really sick, and I was up for a while, probably 45 minutes, and then I went back to bed. So, I'm a little tired this morning because of that, because my sleep was interrupted, but I can't take a nap or anything because I need to get the door whenever it finally, when it finally arrives. And I've been told that I'm going to receive a text half an hour before, but again, I don't trust that. I really don't trust that. So instead, I'm just going to kind of, try and listen for everything. And I need to turn some lights on in here and maybe turn a light on outside just to let the delivery person know that someone is home, because people are not typically home at this time, even though I did request this time. But yeah, we'll cross our fingers that everything arrives fine. A few hours later, and the package has arrived, which means I'm also ready to tell you what we got. We got a new TV, and specifically it's a TV for upstairs. It's a TV to be used for streaming. The TV that we're using for streaming is the same TV we've been using for streaming and also for recording Let's Plays since 2011. It's been a long time. This TV has been around for 11 years, and it's served us well, but it's also had its fair share of problems. For one, the bezel on this TV is particularly bad. There is about 5% of the screen image that is missing, and there are no overscan settings in the menu to correct for that. It's just gone, which makes playing some games difficult, because if the UI, if the HUD of the game that you're playing is too close to the edges of the screen, you just can't see it. In fact, if you've watched some of our Let's Plays over the years, there may have been a chance that we've commented on that, because occasionally we just could not see what was happening, which is a problem. But otherwise, it's been a pretty good TV. Because it is from 2011, it is heavy. It's a particularly heavy television, but it has served us pretty well. But whenever we got here to this particular house and we set everything up, one of the things that changed is that the couch is a lot further away from the television now. And that's by design because, for one, the room is physically larger, but then also we wanted to have another couch because we wanted to be able to support more people being involved in our streaming endeavors. Like we just did this past weekend with Alex and Haley visiting. We wanted it to be easy to add more people to the stream if we want to do that. So once we set everything up, before we had ever even done any streams, but when we set everything up, we were thinking, man, that's kind of a small TV. I think that's a 40-inch, I'm pretty sure. And 40 inches used to be pretty big, but now it's, I guess, on the smaller side of the television size range. especially for a room this size, it ends up being kind of small. This is where I typically sit, and it's kind of small over there. And this really was solidified last weekend when we played Overcooked, because the UI in Overcooked is particularly tiny, and we had trouble throughout the night trying to figure out like what toppings we were putting on the burgers that we were making. And I was like, I think that we really should just get a new television. And having this television for 11 years is great. And we're not getting rid of it, actually. We're going to use it in a different part of the house. But it was time to finally upgrade. So before I go show you the TV that we decided on, I'll tell you where this is going. So we already knew that we were going to get a new TV stand, but we're now just going to put the new TV on the new TV stand, keep this entire setup together, and that is going to go into our bedroom. We're going to put that in the corner of the bedroom, and that's where we're going to put the DDR pad. So the DDR pad is still, the Cobalt Flux pad is still at my parents' house. I'll probably get that the next time we're back, and that'll allow us to finally go back to getting some good exercise. And having it in the bedroom, I think actually makes a lot of sense, because typically when we play DDR, we're doing it for, you know, exercise purposes, and we get sweaty, and then you need a shower, and then you don't have to like trudge through the house while you're sweaty. It's like you're right next to the shower by being in the bedroom. So that TV is now going to just be the exercise station. So now I'm going to go downstairs and show you what I got. I did some research to try and figure out what the best television for us would be. And there's a few things that I was considering when choosing a television. And one of the things was that I wanted it to be a little more up-to-date. The RCA up there is a 1080p television, and at this point in time, you know, most gaming stuff is starting to shift towards 4K. Not everything, but a lot of things, as well as HDR and even high frame rates, because a lot of TVs and games and stuff can now do 120 hertz. So, with that all in mind, I decided on the LG C1. Now, this is not the latest television from LG. There's a C2 series. The 2 and the 1 are for 2022 and 2021 respectively. So this is last year's model. And when I was doing research on this, I discovered that the C1 has a lot of features that are seemingly missing from the C2. Most notably, some interesting stuff with lag related to 4:3 aspect ratio, which is really, really weird. I watched a very, very long review from the guys at My Life in Gaming, who did a review on the 2017 CX, the 2021 C1, and the 2022 C2. And it kind of solidified to me that I should get the C1, especially because it's cheaper now since it is the last year's model. Now, don't get me wrong, this is still definitely the most expensive television I've ever bought, but it has a lot of features, and it should serve us, I'm hoping, for another 10 or 11 years, similar to what the RCA did. So whenever I was looking for this, I wanted, again, to have something that was 4K, that was HDR, that supported 120 hertz, which this does. It's got 4 HDMI 2.1 ports, so it'll do those things across those ports. It will also support some kind of oddball resolutions. So if you're hooking up old consoles, there are a lot of different supported resolutions. You'll just kind of take them. It's not a big deal, because you can run consoles through different devices like the RetroTink, and you can kind of force it to go into a more standardized format. But it's still a nice extra to have. And then the big thing was lag. This, I believe this was the least laggy television. I'm pretty sure, because I was looking at all the research. I think this was the least laggy. Whenever you're running the television in game mode, which, like, the picture takes a slight emphasis on slight picture quality hit, but it, you know, makes the lag go down by a lot. The lag is like less than a frame. which is really good. So that kind of solidified it for me. I was like, well, it'll do all of the things that I want it to do. It should, be future-proofed for a long time. We can run things like the NES on it, but then also, the PS5. And also, when I say NES, let me be specific. Like, this doesn't have composite jacks on it. Obviously, there's different plugs and adapters and stuff that you'd have to do to run some of the old systems. But it will, it will do it. It's possible. And the lag is essentially non-existent. So that made the most sense to me. So yeah, I don't have any allegiance towards any particular brands or anything. I'm not a big TV guy. We don't buy TVs very often. But it sounds like this one was the way to go. Now, for the saddest part, I cannot open this today because Mao is gone. Mao doesn't get back until next week. And it definitely takes two people to get it upstairs. To say nothing of the fact that it would absolutely take two people to get it set up onto a TV stand and get the thing set up. So this is not going to go anywhere for a few days. And, that kind of sucks, but it's fine. It's fine. In the meantime, that's our new TV. And once we get it open and we can play around with it, obviously I'll show it off on the vlog and talk a little bit more about it. It seems like, a pretty good television. I'm excited. I gotta tell you, I'm excited, to have a TV that has these features, like, oh, okay, we'll be able to, I've never had a 4K, or I've never had a HDR television. I have a 4K television, but I've never had an HDR television. I have an HDR monitor, but I've never done any gaming on it because it's a ProArt monitor from Asus. It's not really designed for gaming. It has a lot of lag. So it'll be interesting to, hook up the, say the PS5 and actually play games in HDR and see what that's like. Because I've never experienced that. So don't get me wrong, I'm excited about all those features, but, and this will sound stupid, the thing I'm most excited about is to have a bigger screen so I can see what I'm doing a little more easily when we're upstairs, and then to finally not have that bezel. That bezel and losing the UI on the edges has kind of tormented me for years. So the fact that we'll finally be able to get past that is really nice. I'm excited, probably most excited about that. Anyway, yeah, so now it just sits in the dining room for a few days until Mal gets back. You hungry, bud? You hungry? You want some wet food? Yeah? I bet you do. Let's go get you some. Maybe I could get a snack too. Come on, bud. So tonight's stream went long, which honestly, that would be a bit of an understatement. Speaking of, I need to get this shut down. Shut down, and okay, we're good. So tonight, I wanted to do a one-off because Mal will be back next week, and once she's back, we will do the continuation of Pokemon. But she's not here, and I didn't want to start something and then not keep going, so I wanted to do something I could finish in one night. And I'd asked patrons a week or so ago about games that they would recommend, single-player games. And one of the recommendations was Alba, a wildlife adventure. And that's what I decided to play tonight. And it was very cute. It reminded me of a short hike, which was great. I loved a short hike, mixed with Pokemon Snap. And it was a little longer than I thought it would be. Some of that is on me because just in general, I tend to be a little long-winded. And then also, if I would have had Mal with me, it probably would have went a little bit faster because we would have had two sets of eyes to like figure out what was going on. But one of the key mechanics of the game is using a phone to identify birds. and that was very fun. You wander around the game, and you're on an island. You play as a little girl, and you have this catalog of birds, and you have like pictures of the birds, but you have to find them in the wild, and then take a photo of them to catalog them. There's some other parts of the game as well, but that's like the main part of it. It was just really enjoyable. It also really lends itself well to 100%ing it, because you end up getting so close just playing through the game that you really just want to get 100%. So we did. We 100%ed the game tonight. Also, it's a nice game. It's a wholesome game. It also probably was one of the raunchiest streams we've ever had, because I kept cracking jokes, and chat kept cracking jokes about some of the names of the animals, which, you know, if you haven't seen it, then I'll just keep it. Oh, I will withhold that information, but it's names of birds, so you can just let the juvenile part of your brain go somewhere for just a moment, and you'll be like, oh, that was the joke. But it did take a little while to finish, because the stream was like over 5 hours long. So I apologize to the viewers for being a lot longer than I thought, and also certainly to the mods. But it was fun, and you know, next week we'll almost certainly be back to Pokemon. And one of the interesting things about this was, whenever I found out about the game, I was like, okay, let's play this. It was cheapest on the Sony store because it was on sale. Which is kind of interesting, right? Because like, if you've got multiple ways to play it, you could kind of just pick and choose. Like, should we play it on PC? Should we play it on Switch? Should we play it on PlayStation? It was on sale on PlayStation for just $9, and it was also kind of a benefit because on PlayStation, it'll run in 4K. So I did. I actually recorded the stream in 4K while streaming in 1080, because that's all that Twitch allows, and I'm going to be uploading it to the VOD channel in 4K. So if you missed it, you actually get to watch it in a higher resolution than folks who were there live. It sort of sucks, and I'm really hopeful that at some point soon Twitch will just allow 4K streaming, but they haven't done it yet. So in the meantime, if you want to be there live, obviously there's its own sense of enjoyment being there live and experiencing that. But if you miss it, and we can record it in 4K, I'm trying to. So we recorded it in 4K tonight. Anyway, we had a long day. I'm really looking forward to getting that television set up, partially so I could have played the game in 4K. I recorded it in 4K, but I had to play it in 1080 because that's all I could see. But that'll be something for next week. Anyway, that's it for today. Thank you so much for watching. If you joined the stream tonight, I hope you had fun, especially if you stayed for the whole thing. I know it was a long one, but if you missed it, it's a fun game. It's a fun game. Either check out the VOD or pick it up for yourself and play through it. Really wholesome, really fun to just wander around the island and take photos of birds. I really enjoyed that. That's it. Let's meet back tomorrow, shall we?